resources, inspiring interviews, business practices, and practical advice to take your art career to the next level. Join Sergio Gomez in today's Artist Next Level and get ready to take control of your career.
Well, hello, my next level friend. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Artist Next Level podcast. This is a special edition episode in which I am interviewing artists from around the world as they are stuck at home during the coronavirus lockdown. Hello, my friends. Happy to be here with you once again. Hi, Beth.
Hi, Sergio.
We're super excited to join again through video, and I'm here all the way in the city of Chicago. I'm an artist curator. And Beth, where are you joining us from today?
I am in Texas.
Awesome. And today we're going to talk about how to run a successful artist support pledge campaign in your social media. So, Beth, this is something that I've been, working with myself, the artist support pledge, and I thought that it would be really good to kind of share with our friends my experience that I recently had with the pledge. I ran a really successful campaign through it, and I want to share my takeaways. So, or friends who are trying it or who might be like, well, should I do this? How does it work? Where do I sign up? Answer some of those questions. So what do you think?
I think that's great because since I've been seeing you do it, I'm wanting to do it right now.
Right now. Excellent. Well, we can do it right now. That's super cool. So first of all, let me tell our friends what the Artist Support Pledge is. So the Artist Support Pledge came around because of the coronavirus, and as many artists were indoor. An artist from the UK came up with this idea. His name is Matthew. Came up with this idea of, hey, what not creating a system, not a platform. There are tons of platforms. A system that anyone can use, right? A framework or a structure that anyone can use in order to sell art at a price point that is accessible to a lot of people, and at the same time that it helps other artists in the process. So pretty much the framework is super easy to understand. You sell art, however many pieces you want, that are priced no bigger or no higher than 200 either euros or $200, because a lot of artists in Europe are also doing this. And then you pledge, that's part of the pledge part, you pledge that once you sell 1,000 worth of art, you will buy another artist's work or works for up to $200. So pretty much 20% of your sales, you're devoting it to also support other artists' work as well. And that is great. So I saw it first, many artists doing it, and I thought, maybe I should do this myself too. But I gave myself some time to really think about the strategy of what to do. So that's kind of, I want to share some of those takeaways and some of those things that I think will help our friends. And maybe you, Beth, so you can also run your own artist support pledge. Now, have you seen many artists using it?
Actually, yes, I have. I've seen a lot of people doing it, and I think it's wonderful. I think that there's an incentive there for people to purchase work because, it's going to help support other artists as well. I know that when I first started collecting art from my friends, that was something that I made sure I would do is after I would sell art, I would take a portion of that and go back and then buy my friend's art. And that was how I started my little collection of work from people who I knew locally. So I think it works. It definitely works.
Excellent. So maybe, my friend, maybe you have tried it and maybe it hasn't worked really well, or I've been getting emails and messages from artists that say, how do you do it? Why it's not working for me? So let's start there. So I think the first thing that's super important if you're going to run the artist support pledge is that you do it right. And by doing it right, what I'm going to say is you have to communicate what's it all about. I see many artists who are participating in the support pledge. They use the hashtag artist support pledge, but they are not saying anything about what that is. Mm-hmm. They assume that people know. And what I have to say is you cannot assume that nobody knows anything about it. And in every post, always explain exactly word by word what it is and in simple terms. And I think that is a huge key because a lot of artists want to do the pledge. They use the hashtag, but the audience have no clue. They have no idea. So that's the first one, right? And feel free to interrupt at any time, Beth, if you want to jump in.
Well, I think that's a really good point, and it applies to a lot of things, like any kind of message that you have online or any kind of series of work that you're creating. Like, always reiterate like the purpose of why you're doing it, so that people can, understand the full story, and then that's how they get drawn into it and how they keep coming back for more.
Yeah, it's all about communication, right? It's not just about the picture, it's about what you say about the picture that really matters. Second thing that I found that was very successful for me is that I was very excited about it, right? You have to be excited. If you're not excited yourself as an artist, why would I expect that Beth will be excited about when I'm posting, right? So I started, even before I released the works, I started with my Instagram story, sometimes like shooting a quick video of my studio as I was working on this. I was like, coming soon, and artist support pledge, hashtag, right? So starting creating kind of like that momentum to build up the excitement, because I was excited to participate, right? And I think, sometimes we think because it's a digital medium, it's cold, but I don't think it's cold. I think it could be as warm as you make it. And I think people can perceive that enthusiasm that you can have, in the way you talk about it, in the way you take the pictures, in the way you have descriptions about those things. Don't you feel like you can sometimes feel the warmth of a post in a way?
Oh, of course you can. There's an energy to everything that we do, whether it's online or in person. And I love what you've done with your artist support pledge, because it's really drawn me in. I've been following along with it. And now that you've sold almost all of your series of work, I think it's really exciting to see you be successful at it, and to see you start it and what you've been through. And I love the work, especially too, because it's a cohesive body of work that people are buying a piece of. And I think that because you have that cohesiveness in your work, that also brings in the whole purpose of what you're doing, the story that you're trying to tell, and it just all aligns just perfectly.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you. So another piece of the puzzle that can help our friends too is from the beginning, as I build the momentum, I started the pledge. I had a release day. It's like, I'm going to release it on a Monday, right? And you can pick any day, doesn't matter. But then work yourself like backwards, and almost like a timetable where you say, okay, now 3 days to release, 2 days to release, 1 day to release. So you continue to build excitement. And what I did, which I found super, super, super successful for this release, because I have done other things for releases also on my social media, but what I did different on this one is that during those releases, I actually, in the comments of my post or in the description, I would say, if you would like a private link to preview all the works ahead of time, message me directly. Mm-hmm. So there was no link. The people had to message me, like purposely go out of the way to message me. And I found that to be very successful. Most people that messaged me ended up, most of them buying something. And so they felt special because they had that private link that they would go in. So let's say, Beth, if you message me and say, hey, I would like to get that link. So I will send you the link, and I will make it super easy. Hey, all the artwork is numbered 1 through 12. If you like any of those numbers, let me know. Reply with your email, and I will right away send you a PayPal invoice. So for the pre-sale, I didn't even have a cart or a shopping cart, or, it was just DM messaging. And that worked out really well for those hardcore fans that really wanted to jump in right away.
Oh, I love that. Mm-hmm. You're so smart when you do all that. I was going to ask if you use email marketing or anything like that, but I like the exclusivity that you built into your launch and to bring your collectors in. And I also liked in your description too, how you mentioned that one of the added bonuses was that you would get added to your VIP collectors list, and that you were selling your work for half of what it's normally valued at because of the price ceiling for the artist support pledge. So I felt like I was, the buyer is going to get a whole lot for the money that they spend, and you're going to go and spend money to support other artists as well. So
exactly. And that is actually my next point, which is you are excited about it, right? You're telling people how they can get a first look into it, but also let them know of the value, right? The value added of participating in what you're doing now. Because you can be very excited about it and say, hey, this is a super special deal, but it's incredible. But like, you have no idea what that is, right? are you giving me that 5%, 10%, or, what's the deal? So by telling exactly in the post the price of the artwork, how much is the retail, at the regular price, which after the, for the same size of work, what I have sold it before. So that was the retail price. So, there's only because it's the pledge, I'm giving it at this price point. So that again, as you said, it brings another part. But doing it from the beginning, it created transparency versus message me for pricing. Well, you can do that, but because it's a pledge and because I wanted really that quick, immediate reaction, it was really important for me to be clear from the get-go and not be hiding the price, but actually making it super obvious, on the price point, and actually repeated it multiple times in my post. That helped. And actually in the last one, which also you mentioned, is the email. So I also use my email to send people in my email an invitation to join. And actually in the email I said, I'm very sure that it is going to be a successful campaign. So check it fast, right? Because what happens with email, right? You check an email like, yeah, I'm gonna check it later. So check it fast. And some sales came because of that email.
Well, I think because you were really clear about your messaging from the very beginning, you had a really great plan. You knew exactly what you were going to do. You told everyone what you were going to do, and then you saw it through. Like, that's why you've been successful, and why I think in any marketing campaign that I've seen fall short is because there's a lack of consistency and not clear enough communication. So
exactly. Yeah.
Congratulations on a successful campaign.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you. And then, the follow-up, which is super important, is now, if you actually say that you're going to do the pledge and you actually sell, your first 1,000 or more, make sure that you also let your audience know, what did you get, what other artists you supported through, which I think is very important. It's part of the pledge. If you're making this public and with full transparency, then also full transparency should be, hey, I'm very excited too because of the pledge and your support, I was able to support this other artist's work and give a shout out and a highlight and things like that. And also follow up with your email campaign too. And a quick also tip that can help artists is once you have already like however many you are doing for the pledge, let's say you're doing 20 or 10 or whatnot, when you're reaching a point where 80% of them are sold, that's another opportunity to send another email or to use what I did, a little graphic where I just put all the artwork, just put a little dot on the ones that were sold, when I had 80% of them done, already sold, so that people see, oh, there's only 3 left or 4 left, or, it kind of creates that urgency like, wow, other people are jumping in. I should jump in as well. And you can do that through your social media and also through your email marketing.
I heard this saying once. It's called "the fortune is in the follow-up," which is so true. And you've done a great job. And the way I think about people communicating with their audiences online is that it's an ongoing dialogue. And so, of course, people are going to want to know what you bought after you completed the pledge. Like, that just makes sense for you to continue this dialogue on with your audience, no matter what project you're doing or anything like that. Just always be in constant communication, sharing with them, communicating with them, replying back to them, following up. All of those things are part of how you build good, strong relationships.
Yep. And the last one, and then with this I'll wrap it up because I know we're running out of time really quickly, but the one that is super important is when you post, make sure that you have a good image, right? What I chose to do is on my images, I use one of those apps that put your artwork on a frame. So people see how it's going to look in their home, right? Super important. And also I mentioned that I was going to ship them on frame. That was just a setup for them to see how it looks. And then, so on the next post, it was a scroll, right? Post. So on the next image, it was a detail. And then on the next one, the official pledge image, which is all red and bright. And then on the third one, a statement of what the pledge is, even if it was already on the caption, just there with my digital signature. So it looks personalized. And actually, I'm including that also when I ship the artwork, that little page as a thank you. So and I think all those little things is what added up to a very successful artist support pledge. So I invite my friends to check it out. All the friends, go and try it. You're more than welcome to follow, what I did on my Instagram. Just use it. Use the same. Don't reinvent the wheel. Check it out. Go to Sergio Gomez Art. Look at my pledge things that I use and feel free to use them. So, Beth, we're out of time. Where can our friends find you on social media?
You guys can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Beth English. That's BETHINGLISH. And you can find me over on the Nashville Creative Group, where I will be sharing this video so that people in that group will see how you've been so successful. And yes, please go check out Sergio's Instagram and see how he did this, because he did a great job. Bravo.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. And by the way, you don't need a giant audience. It could be a good small audience, but very engaged if you engage them from the start. So thank you, my friends. You can find me also on Instagram, Sergio Gomez Art. Hope to see you there. Have a great and successful artist support pledge. Have a good day. Bye, Beth.
Check out our website at www.theartistnextlevel.com, where you will find our podcast library, learn about our upcoming webinars, find resources relevant to your career, and much more. Thanks for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you at the next level.